Okay. What interests you the most about Rotary?
What interests me most about the Rotary is it gives me, I have the opportunity to go and do things outside of my community where I live, whether it's international or other states. I can be engaged in a lot of different.
Next gentleman, what's your name?
My name's Doug Yeager. I've been in this Rotary group 5 years. Sure.
And my question to you is, what has been a highlight for you in Rotary?
I would say it's a couple. I mean, it's picking on one is hard. I would say one is our ability to receive some grant funding over the last few years and do some worthwhile projects in our community thanks to the money from Rotary and the impact it's had in our community.
Terrific. Thank you. The next gentleman that just walked in.
Oh, so you're on spot.
Yeah,
What is your name?
Tom.
Tom. I have a question for you.
I've had all the answers so far today.
Very good. Very good. What are you the proudest about in this Rotary Club?
The proudest?
Yeah.
I will say the numerous homes around the community that are still standing.
Explain a little bit more for me.
The school board program that we had for a period of time.
Okay. Okay. John.
So I'm John, I've been with the club since 2015.
And what has kept you engaged in this club?
I have to say many things, but one of which would be the fellowship with the fellow Rotarians within the club.
Okay.
Great fun.
Next gentleman, your name?
Jerry Piper.
Okay, Jerry. How has being a Rotarian benefited you?
Boy, well, it got me engaged with a number of people in Mukwonago.
Okay.
I had always worked in Milwaukee or Iowa or someplace else, and especially after I quit work, being retired, I can keep up with some contacts and friends.
Okay. Thank you. The lady in the house.
My name is Megan Hetland. I think I've been with Rotary, I think this is my 3rd year.
Okay.
It's hard to say because I'm not as active as I would like to be, but.
Well, we're flexible and we're innovative, so you fit that model. My question to you is, what would you like to see this club do in the community?
I think grow and just make ourselves more known.
Okay.
You know, provide, just to keep being able to provide more to the
Okay.
community.
Okay. Rick has a program in the future that will help with that question. Next gentleman.
Yeah, nice to call me a gentleman. I first joined Rotary in 1965 in Brookfield
Okay.
and was active there for 50 years till we disbanded. And then I was out of
in
Rotary
the
for a
evening
few.
club or the morning club?
Pardon me?
Were you in the evening club or the morning club?
Well, the history it was Brookfield was a noon club.
Pizza's going.
Pizza?
Oh.
You
And
want me to set it down just over here?
I think it's important to understand, we started an evening club and it folded pretty quick.
For each family.
Even though we had good leadership and everything, you know, it just didn't work. In the early, I think it was 1983 or 84, I was president of the club and I was instrumental in developing the Elmbrook Morning Club.
Okay.
There was only one other morning club in the district at that time. And then then we really struggled as a noon club. And lost members, and then finally had to give up our charter. So I was out of Rotary for a few years, so the opportunity came in Mukwonago here. I felt something was missing
Okay.
in my life as far as volunteering, so I joined the Bonneville Club 2 years ago.
Okay, great, thank you. And your first name is? Your name?
Kenneth,
Kenneth, okay. And you have answered my question that I was going to give you was, why are you a Rotarian? But I think you have given that history to us, unless you have something else you would like to add.
right. It gives me some balance in my life as far as volunteering.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Next gentleman.
My name is John Miners, and I've been a part of Rotary for 14 years.
Okay. And what has been a highlight for you in Rotary?
A highlight. Well, I always think that the most important thing for Rotary for me is the fellowship,
Okay.
the camaraderie, and being a part of the community. So a highlight would be my 30 years of Rotary to make me president. I guess that's a highlight.
Very good, thank you. And Mark, my question.
You're not out of questions?
No.
You're just going around Robin. You can see it here.
What has kept you engaged in Rotary?
What has kept me engaged? I guess all the projects in the service aspect, the Rotary. I mean, we're a small club, but we sure do a lot of projects in the community. And I think when we look at our budget, it's pretty much a zero budget, because what we take in, we give pretty much all of it back.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Hopefully that helped you get to know your fellow Rotarian a little bit better, or maybe it's the kind of question that you've never had asked of you before. But I think it's a good way to get started this evening, because if we're going to look at future strategic planning and things like that, it helps to get to know your fellow Rotarian. Pizza has arrived, so are you about ready to begin again?
Wherever you are.
Okay, great. Who can share with me the previous Rotary mission statement? Does anybody kind of remember what it might have said?
When you say it, I'll say, That's right. I remember now.
Thanks, Jeff.
Is that the district or Rotary International?
The Rotary's, just Rotary International's mission statement.
Not our clubs, but our.
The old one.
The old one.
Rick, stop.
There was something about professionals
Googling.
and business, making a difference, kind of a thing. Well, that one's gone bye-bye. So if you don't have that one memorized, no problem. But here's the new one that you might want to make note of. Together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. That is the new Rotary vision statement. Now there's some key words in there, and can you pick out which words might be those key words in that statement?
First one, together.
Together.
That is true.
Unite.
Unite is one of them.
Take action, create.
Take action.
Across the globe, meaning that we, different cultures, different, not lasting change.
Lasting change. That is the new vision statement that Rotary's adopted, and a lot of the strategic plans that are coming through the pipelines and the systems, as well as yours. The district has a strategic plan. I've given Mark a copy of it. You can certainly go to our district website and take a look at it. But it is something that talks about uniting, creating change, taking action. And there's a whole lot of the take action is where a whole lot of emphasis is being placed on. So that is something to keep in mind, as well as if somebody would come up to you and as you're trying to recruit members to join the club, and they would say, well, what is Rotary? Can somebody share their typical response that they might give to somebody when they're asked that question? What is Rotary? Thoughts?
The world's largest service organization,
Okay.
with over 10,000 clubs worldwide and 1 million members. And then we go from there.
Okay. Do you think you're still listening after you've said that?
Yes.
Okay. Many times yes, many times no.
Sometimes I'll say, locally, we're men and women who are committed to improve things within our community, but also doing, change around the world.
Sure.
And again, we volunteer, and a lot of times we get back more than what we contribute in that way.
Rick's statement, and he's drank Kool-Aid, you need to understand, is probably more leading into an additional discussion than giving people statistics about world's largest service organization. Because what does that mean for me in Naguanago? Kind of a thing. And when you talk about saying something like, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, doesn't that sort of like open the door for somebody to say back to you, how come, why are you saying that? And then you can continue on with, well, in the Naguanago Rotary Club, we have X, Y, and Z kind of impact in the community. So be thinking about some of those things. As far as what might get people interested in your club, what are you doing? Have you taken the bushel basket off the light so that you can see in your community what you are doing to make improvements in the community? Now, I think, Jerry, you were going to talk a little bit about highlights of the strategic plan, previous one, as well as maybe a club assessment
Yeah,
survey.
we did this is really the plan we did 3 years ago,
Okay.
and I'm gonna raise it up just a little. Well, how do I get it?
Over to the far right of the bar.
You got to get in the elevator shaft.
You see the, oh, wait a minute, what's going on up there?
Technology is wonderful when it works.
We're gonna close that.
Should I go see if there's a girl in the library?
What did I do?
You closed it.
Yeah. I don't know if I can find it.
Don't hit snooze.
Up there, update 4, see, just below, with the X, the green X, that should be your Excel sheet that you just had. Under your name, Jerry Pfeiffer.
There you go.
Okay, now, how can I raise it up? I gotta get over here.
Yes, sir. Right there, with the bar, and slide that down.
I can't get the cursor.
Put your arrow just a little bit below that whole bar, so you just hit it.
You can touch it.
This isn't a, I don't think this is a touch screen. This is Angie's.
There you go.
There we go, that's what I was on that time. Well, I can start there. Okay, anyway, we took a few meetings and we did the old SWOT exercise, and we came up with a number of things, and just going to go over a few of them, but they're kind of going to get us into where we ended up. But I don't know if you can read some of it, but the strengths were the friendly atmosphere, and the members were all willing to do some service projects. We had a number of people very connected to the community.
Hey, can I ask you to talk a little louder, please?
Okay, I will.
Please. You're facing the street.
I'll start over. Some of the club strengths were the friendly atmosphere we had in the club. There was a number of people that were very service oriented, very participated a lot. We had a number of people that were well connected in the community, and we thought that was a big strength. And then we had some highly visible projects like the School to Work House, which we probably got a lot out of. And when it was all done, we generally had a really good, kind of good participation and good feeling about the club. Some of the opportunities we had were membership at the time, and Pawnee was growing, and it was growing then, it's growing more now, and we thought we should be taking more advantage of that. Some of the clubs that we noticed in the area here, Waukesha, Commonwealth, they've got a lot more members. Elkhorn got many more members, and we were kind of stuck on 26 or 27 members back then. And then we were talking a lot about the tech ed area back at that time. Technical education, that kind of was involved with the School to Work House, and we thought there was more opportunity there. A couple of manufacturing companies were talking about building on, and a couple of them built, so that was kind of a couple of areas we thought were good opportunities. Over on the weakness side, I guess, we thought we needed to take a look at our fundraising. Some of them were, most of our fundraising at the time and projects were very weather dependent, and then some of them were really small. We weren't getting a lot of bang for the buck, and we were having some difficulty just getting a lot of people interested in them. After a while, they kind of died out. One of them was the parking. We talked about parking for years, and we finally just were out of parking cars now. But the idea was we needed something fresh, something new, something bigger, thinking bigger, different types of events, and maybe service project at the same time. A couple other threats we talked about is that if we didn't expand our membership, it's hard to go for bigger projects with a small club. So that was one of the areas that we said we've got to get more members, and we target ourselves, let's get to 40 members somehow. That was how we did that. The other thing we thought that our PR was kind of weak, that a lot of people didn't know what Rotary was, or what we did, and so forth. I think everybody knows who the Lions Club is, but not everybody knows about the Rotary Club, for example. And then some of the challenges were just making people aware and getting new members on board. And once we get them on board, we got to get them involved faster. We weren't doing a good job of orientation with members. So, and that just leads to turnover, and members don't feel like they're getting anything out of the club. And that was those are the main items that we in our self-assessment back then, if you recall. So how did we do, or what did we do? Okay. Get it down a little. One of the questions we said, well, what do we want to be? We wanted to be a larger club. We wanted to do some more things. We thought we had a platform with the Halloween haunt. We needed to maybe do a little more with that. We thought that with the community expanding, there's opportunities for us. We should be doing more, just more of something. And that was really where we were. We thought of the Interact Club at the time. That'd be a way of getting more involved. We're fairly involved, we were with the School to Work program at the high school, so we're kind of plugged in there. Interact Club was one other thing we talked about. Some of the things that we targeted, we thought, these were just statements we made at the time. We said a key to our future was to get up to a much larger membership, and we put the number out there of 40 members. And that was 3 years ago. A couple other things, get a little more focused on our projects that are fundraising, not have so many, maybe a couple less, but have better ones, maybe bigger ones. We talked about our internal communication a little bit, and that gets back to new member orientation and bringing them on board. And that was just an item that we heard from some new members that just felt like they weren't involved, and it takes time to get members involved. We talked about publicity a little bit. We've got to do more. We have been doing a lot more, but even back then, but just had to really get Rotary's name out there much more than we had. And then there was, we were talking about our membership makeup a little bit, that there's several, and not just the diversity side of things, but there's just other areas in the community. We have no one from manufacturing at all in the club. We still don't. We were looking at some areas like, Pro Health was moving into town, for example, and we've got a couple dentists, a couple bankers, and so there's other places. We don't have any accountants. There were no lawyers. I mean, there's just missing pieces to the puzzle. That was just not any one picked on or anything. And then obviously we wanted more ladies to join the club and just become a little bit more diverse at the same time. And then talked about exploring more ways of how can we get an Interact group going at Florida High School. And we came up with a local mission statement. It said, we are a service club of community leaders and professional business people organized for the betterment of the greater Mukwonago community and the world. That was it. That was our local one.
Sure.
So pretty generic.
Yeah.
We never did finish a vision statement.
Okay.
So we never got to the really where do we want to be part of the last time around.
Yeah.
A couple more. Okay. How do we get there? That was the next set. We set some goals. We were talking about membership, so we said let's form a new membership committee. Kind of started from scratch, and so we did that. We wanted to target more members, and we wanted to go from 26 or 27 to 40. So we were starting to think about where else can we go. We needed to put together a new orientation program. We had to do more short-term recruiting, and we started talking about, we go out and ask people to help sponsor events and so forth. We should ask them too if they have any interest in Rotary, and just keep it going. And then what would be our long-term recruiting, and that kind of got into, there's the pieces missing in the club, and we never really did a lot with that. And then we're back to Interact group again. And we had assignments and responsibility.
Are any of those committees that were established 3 years ago, 2 years ago, still working, functioning today?
Yes, hold on, I was going to try to move this over. 1 second. Well, if I go back here, on the, let's see, we ended up, the membership committee is still intact.
Good.
And we've got 5 members. We started out with 30, 32. We got to 35 members a year ago. Now this past year we were steady. We're still at 35. We approved an orientation program. We started talking about more recruiting. We came up with the corporate membership program where we allow several businesses to have multiple members. And then we talked about Interact, and we met some time ago. Didn't really do anything further back then. Now we're back here to events, and we said review all of our events, which we did. We put together a committee to review events and also look into newer events. And that led us to a talent show that we ran 2 years in a row. And very successful, did a lot with that. That really got us down here. We talked about some quick hit events, but that really got us down to the plan, the large event item that we came up with. And then we said, let's set some goals and causes. I don't think we really got that far where we nailed down and said, look, we're gonna donate money for this cause. We've got some that we do, but we have made it a point to go after grants, so we help fund those with that was that part. And so if we get down to the bottom, I've got some a little bit. Get down there. Okay. Just kind of a summary. I'm going to move over here again. See, we continued. We've been doing updates all along, and one of the things that we said is to make a plan effective, we got to review it a couple times a year. So every 6 months we had a review, either with the club or with the board. We kept the membership going. We sponsor a State of the Village event, and our intent there originally was a membership drive, but we do ask people if they're interested, but the only one I'm aware of, I think, was Ken. I think Ken came through that State of the Village. Talking about inviting members to social events, we did a couple of those. New members came to our social events prior to joining the club. We had a future events committee that led to the town show. Talked about a succession plan, and we started adding a vice president and a president-elect. So we have that three set up going. We usually just scrambled for a president. The vision statement, or the vision 3 to 5 years, we were at 3 when we did this. And we talked about presidential citations a little bit, and some of the goals we did receive 2 in a row. We've got presidential citations going on. We talked about a direction for the School to Work program. That kind of got to a point where we lost our builder, and we were evaluating that program now where we're at.
Sure.
And so that's kind of fast forward. And then we were talking about continuing the planning schedule for strategic planning. But that was kind of in a nutshell what we did 3 years ago. You can see some of those things actually came about.
Very good.
And we do have,
stands in there.
we do have an Interact started.
Yeah, a couple of them, I think the Interact one is probably the one that's going forward now. That thing is off the ground. Probably a year after we targeted it, but it's going. The School to Work reevaluation, that's going on too right now. So we got that in the process. Anyway, that's in a nutshell what we did.
Okay.
So we kind of up to date and back forward, but I think the planning helped. It needs another step now. That's why we're here.
And we're going to build on that.
Okay.
Thank you, Jerry. That certainly gives all of you that are here tonight the opportunity to see where the club came from to where you are now. You have green index cards on the table in front of you. And if you need a writing tool, let me know, because I have John. Have a whole bag full, well, I'll get to it, but I just want to let you know that those index cards, label them 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, anybody else? Thank you, Megan. Anybody else need a?
I thought I put 2 in front.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, well, you're gonna label right side 1,
Oh.
left side 2, right side 3, right side 4. So in other words, front, back, front, back. 1 is front, 2 is back, 3 is front, 4 is back. It's not that difficult to figure out.
That is for us. We're fairly
Can you
challenged.
show us?
I've been thinking all day long.
That's right, I've been thinking for other people all day long.
Yeah, it's green side.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the green side, yes.
All right.
Label the front one strengths. Number 1 is strengths. Number 2 will be improvements. Number 3 will be opportunities or observations. And number 4 will be trending. Trending, future trends, future things. Take a few minutes now and jot down what you see as strengths, what you see as areas of improvement, what do you see as some observations that you've made about the community, about your Rotary Club, whatever. And then we're going to come together and share those, get them up on flip chart paper, and start figuring out where you want to go in the next 3 years. Building on what Jerry shared with you has been done. Any questions?
More bullet points than.
Yeah, more bullet points. And write so that you can understand your own writing, or printing, or whatever's
I'm out of the contest now.
convenient for you. couple people to help write
Okay.
when we're to that point. Everybody pretty much done, or you still need a little time?
I'm done.
Okay. There's still more pizza if you're still hungry.
Lots more.
Yeah.
You'll get it? No, you got nothing, right?
Rick, if you're willing to describe? Thank you. What are some of the strengths of the McGuanago Rotary Club?
Strong finances.
Yeah,
Okay.
I concur. I think we're very fiscally stable.
Fellowship.
Fellowship?
I put down that we have, key people with talent and energy, good core.
Okay. So a good core,
Talented core.
talented, energetic core. What else?
Community connectedness.
Okay.
We have potential for growth.
Give me a sense.
Small check.
Potential for growth.
You tell Rick is really old because he's writing in cursive.
What?
I said, we can tell you're really old because you're writing in cursive, and I can know I'm really old because I can read it.
I was gonna say, I'm the youngest one and I can still read
There you
it.
go.
Potential for growth.
Potential for growth.
Growth. What else are some strengths?
Event success.
Yeah, we had successful events.
Yeah.
I think we have pretty good leadership.
So do you have a president-elect?
Yeah.
Very good. President-elect nominee?
No, come on.
That's like 3 years from
I
now.
think we have really good, for the members who are very involved, I think we have really good dedication to the values of the club.
Dedicated members.
Yeah.
What else?
It seems as a result of a lot of those that the overall view of Rotary has picked up. It's gotten more, I think we've got more PR, good PR publicity. It's
So
a
would
little
you
more
say-
it's more recognized, maybe in
A better awareness.
Community-
Community awareness.
Community awareness.
Okay.
Well, we have a strong Facebook presence. It gets a lot of traction.
Facebook awareness. Do you have a social media guru? Or, good. What else?
Mine kind of goes with talented, but I said, intelligent group, but maybe it's the same.
Okay.
Kind of confused when I heard that.
I might have
You can
spelled
be
that wrong.
talented.
Let's go say it.
Yeah, they're intelligent up there, spelled it wrong.
I didn't know I was going to be charged.
Really? Rough group.
We said something about events there being successful, but also highly rated.
Visible events.
Talent show and the Halloween and the.
Success and visibility.
Okay.
The house, the playhouse, they're real highly visible.
Yeah, well, the venues have all been.
Yeah, my profile, the balloons thing was, outside of being 140 degrees, it was.
Anything else as far as being strengths of the club?
Yeah, I would say willing to try new things. I mean, like
Okay.
the balloon event, that was,
We wanted to take a,
we had kind of last minute notice, but we kind of took that and ran with it.
yeah,
Where it's successful.
they're kind of fearless.
For changes,
Yeah.
Flexible.
we're not that rigid, we won't try a flyer.
Yeah.
Anything else? Well, we always can come back. Let's go over to the area of improvements.
I'll use red on that.
Ooh.
Nobody see Rick Deedy. Damn it.
It's on my list.
So what are some of the things that the McGuanago Rotary Club could improve upon?
I think more diversity.
Okay, more diversity.
Um,
You know, the standard question to that would be is, do you represent the community?
Sort of.
And do you
But I
have
think there are women here too.
24% women?
Yeah.
It also goes back to what Jerry was saying. We're missing manufacturing totally. We're missing lawyers. We're missing
Key segments of.
key segments,
industry,
you
yeah.
know.
Okay.
From that standpoint, we really don't represent it.
Right.
Oh, really?
If you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, what do we have from retail?
Right.
Not a lot. What do we have? We have healthcare, but we don't have.
So we consider occupation as one of the criteria
I would,
for growth.
I would look at it as being, not a criteria, but I think we look at it as being, there's certain segments that we would want to recruit from.
Do you folks use the vocational at all? I'm just asking the question.
What do you mean?
I would say.
The classifications that
No, we
I'm
don't.
an educator.
No, it's just where you're
No,
working.
we were to respond to a district survey.
We did a classification study, and we just noticed there's just missing pieces.
Okay, so there's voids and lawyers, doctors, those kinds might be.
Because in the
avoided.
old days, it would only allow, going back,
Yeah,
Only about one in each one.
you're right, huh? That was the parameters that were put in place, and then it was like, okay, we'll just put a different label on that
Yeah.
person. But
so you
then
had trust lawyer, you had
Yeah.
divorce lawyer, you had
Right,
estate lawyers.
so then we got rid of that.
Yeah.
Or I stepped back and said, what are we doing here? All we're focusing is on our occupation, and we're not looking at
What do they
you as an
want?
individual. What do you want, and how can you benefit us as a
I
group?
don't think we preclude somebody from joining because we had too many in one area. I think it's more just let's see if we can be more, try to engage more with the population that we're not represented, or not represented in our
Sure.
our club. And we went through this with the Otonabee Chamber, we did the same study, as far as who we have from different areas of employers in the area, trying to make sure we have a.
So it's a function of people rather
So
than
it's
occupation.
an inclusive club, not an exclusive.
Yes,
There we go, I like that.
So that might be something that
Inclusivity.
the membership committee might want to take a look at. Where are the voids? How can you recruit to fill in some of those voids? What other improvements?
We made a stab at helping better integrate new members, and
Okay,
I think we still got a long way to go.
okay.
So, I got about 20 things.
Let's go eat pizza later.
Okay, membership orientation?
Well,
For
I
new
said, I
members,
like the word
integration.
integrate, even
I like the
two-year
integrate better
members.
than orientate, just because, so when I was a new member, I kind of came in feeling like, well, you guys have everything figured out, what am I gonna contribute? You know what I mean, how can I help? So,
And engaging is another word.
Getting new members
More engagement
engaged,
of- Especially new members. What do you think of
new member engagement, yeah.
And so my next one was involved, so it's kind of the same thing of where you're going, not talking about new members, talking about all members.
That is true.
You know,
Yes.
we're really working hard at the 20-80 rule.
Okay.
20% of the people are doing 80% of the work, so, help members to be more involved. I don't know how you want to write that, but
Yeah, that's really.
All members.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to on mine. It's kind of the episode of Star Trek, you see the same four people beaming down. Hopefully we're not wearing the red shirt that day.
I'm gonna spin off of that a little bit, maybe this might help that too. Making the information that's discussed in the club, like, just more accessible. The meetings for those like myself, who can't attend the meetings regularly, there should be a way for those members who aren't present to be able to still view the information. Whether it's, you know, filming it and displaying it on the Facebook page, I don't know if that's something you want public, or if it's, you know, just making the meetings accessible to everybody that's in the club, whether they're there or not.
Getting back to your new members, I'm full of questions, so I'll just keep asking them. You have a sponsor, somebody that sponsors a new member, correct?
Yes.
Do you have a mentor in addition to that sponsor?
Yeah, we do that.
Okay, very good.
What if we, I don't get too far afield, but, you know, playing off your comment, it's something we're, again, we're thinking about the Oconomowoc Chamber is virtual meeting, that if you can't make the meeting, you can Skype in, or you can be there virtually, at least so that you're aware. I mean, you know, nowadays with our schedules, it seems like if I can call in if I'm down in Burlington, but I can at least listen in, I'm not missing the meeting.
Right.
You know, I'd like to see us go something like
Good,
that.
just listen.
Yeah, at least, even if it's for 20 minutes out of the hour, at least be part of it, so you feel at least somewhat connected.
Right.
That's
Because you
sort of
miss a
my-
couple and you feel completely.
I feel
out of the
lost.
game.
I mean,
Like,
it's
you have
just
no idea
can't
what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
One of the ideas we talked about at last year's quasi-strategic planning meeting was like a podcast.
Okay.
So, you know, recording the meeting or parts of the meeting, you know, making that available.
So maybe that has to be explored a little bit more for possibilities.
Then going back to the initial, just looking at where we're going with membership, we've got, I think, 6 ladies now in the club. We had 7 at one time, but that's really not representative, I suppose, of clubs, which should probably have more ladies.
Well, ask yourself if it's a quarter of your membership. And if it is not, then you should be recruiting a few more there. I know the district has set a goal of 40% women in every club. But I don't know that that will be achieved. Some clubs, yes, not all clubs.
We're 6 out of 39, 35, so that's about 18% or so, somewhere around there.
There's room to improve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of one of the roadblocks to being inclusive, exclusive, and with membership, that there's been some talk lately about trying to reduce the costs of meals, breakfast in particular.
Yeah.
Our quarterly dues for the club and the district are $41 a month, or a quarter.
Yeah.
$41 a quarter. Our breakfasts are about $90
Yeah.
a quarter. And I think there's been some sentiment that wants to discuss that, and some are thinking maybe that high cost of meals might be a detriment to bringing on new members.
Might be. Take a look at it.
I ran that past Chad, and in my situation, I'm unable to attend a lot of the meetings, or Laura's paying for that breakfast, and quite frankly, then I have to evaluate, I'm not being responsible.
Right.
For somebody else's money.
Yep.
Would the restaurant be open to change?
That's probably a discussion item.
Okay, you know, that kind of a thing. Our situation is, we're very fortunate that we order off the quasi-menu for our Rotary Club,
Oh,
and we just pay for whatever we order.
uh-huh.
So if you just want to drink coffee, you pay for coffee.
Right.
If you want a full breakfast, you pay for that.
Yeah.
So
How do you do the billing and stuff like that?
we no longer use food as a revenue item.
Right, but for those that are there that pay for coffee, do they just get a separate bill?
Yeah, everybody gets a separate bill.
So the server, whatever, waitress, whatever that is,
Right.
gives everybody a separate invoice.
So like we do for our board meeting, or, our board meetings in the evening.
Right.
You want dinner, you order dinner, pay for it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, but
you know, but you gotta work with the restaurant,
Right.
you know, because
They
that
don't want
means
us to hire more staff, I would think.
staff people or
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah, we
That
talked
lady
about
that we
maybe
have-
changing, I mean, if
No.
we're going to meet at the restaurant, maybe we meet here, but then we have to figure out what do people want? Do we take turns in bringing coffee and
Everyone stops doing McDonald's drive-through.
donuts or muffins or fruit? I mean,
No, just meet at McDonald's.
it gets complicated, you know?
It does, it truly does.
I think we need to, my thing was, we need to improve weekly attendance. Only because we have good programs, and you enjoy the fellowship, and it's tough to get away, but when you do get it on a regular schedule, that it helps keep you reinforced of what we're doing and why we're belonging and why we're
It's like going to church.
kind of like that in
Yeah,
a
you
way.
show up and-
So it's, maybe we have to do a better job of selling why meeting weekly with your friends is so important and why it can enhance your life. To me, I think that's one of the things I think, because we track our attendance. And John, what do you think we average on a weekly basis for our club?
60%.
Okay,
It's a little more than half show on a regular basis.
yeah, well, that's about typical.
Okay.
I've been thinking about including pictures when I send out the weekly agendas. I thought maybe that would help people read it and
Pictures.
take pictures
It's pictures.
on the agenda.
Like clip art?
Emojis?
Gonna send out a video form?
Do you promote the speakers?
My daughter's looking for work.
Yeah, that's right.
Pictures always help.
Okay, bring that up 10.
Well, maybe one of the things to increase your attendance would be is to do a little bit more promotion about the speaker, or what the program is of the week. Who's coming, what might be a highlight of them. I mean, it will trigger some people's interest, that they may say, yeah, I want to get out of bed on Thursday and go to that meeting because I want to hear.
And we've sort of done that. I mean,
Is that
Mark
on,
and
is that
John
put on
done
our,
that,
We
Jerry.
do
our
that.
webpage or Facebook page? Is there like a
No,
schedule?
it's
like-
not.
No.
We never ask for a bio. Now, this is just my comment. We never ask for a photo
Of the person speaking.
of the person speaking or what the topic is. Yes, we have Teacher of the Month, but when someone brings in a guest speaker,
Yeah.
yes, they're prepared to introduce them at that moment in our club. But nothing goes out with your attendance
No, I
saying,
would disagree.
okay,
Okay, I've been trying to put down, Rick Deavy has the speaker this week, who is so-and-so.
Mr. Henderson, yeah.
I mean,
But to
like I
Rick's
said, I
point,
need to include some
But
pictures.
Rick's talking about some individual bio on the speaker and maybe a picture like you mentioned.
kind of, yes.
You know, a little more, you're doing more than maybe that's been done.
Well,
Yeah.
But
okay,
I think what
so,
he's saying is more yet,
Okay, I did
that's
take a
fine,
look.
but then I struggle
yeah.
with, inundating with too many, I think I inundate people with too many emails as it is. Where it's just, blodge it again, I'll just delete that sucker, so
That's only a 4 out of 5.
That's right. This
If
one is
there's
serious.
a
That's
picture in it,
second
the
one.
woman.
well, that's where the pictures come in.
It's ours.
But we do, I do have the weekly agenda,
Okay,
it comes out on Monday, and with, who the Rotarian is and who their guest speaker is, and I try to put a little blurb in there, along with some other things, but I don't know, if we included a bio with that would be an attachment, would people really read that and prompt them to want to come? I don't know.
Well, I feel that emails have to be short reads.
Yeah.
They have to be short.
Do
If I see a paragraph, I'm done. I'm not gonna read a whole paragraph.
Yeah.
do you post it on your website, the calendar and who the speakers are every week in the block?
So,
No, I just pulled it up just to look. The only thing on our calendar was the Halloween hunt for our club. Because I just looked, just to see.
So maybe, you know, that would be one way additionally to, I mean, if you're promoting social media, you got a Facebook account, if you're driving people at all to your website, what would be on the website that would attract people?
We need to improve our website.
You know, so that might be something, not to self-promote because we do have a member that spends a lot of time, but take a look at the Waukesha Sunrise website and see what we all have on ours.
Yeah.
You know, it talks about the speakers, it talks about, you know, what's going on and those kinds of things. So take a look at it.
The problem is getting, putting up a website is easy.
That's right.
Getting someone to monitor it and
Yeah.
to constantly post it is a whole nother story, so.
That's true, and I recognize that
Yeah,
fact.
that's full-time jobs. Yeah.
But I mean, that's with a small club, like
Right.
we are, smaller club, it's hard to find those people, but that's definitely an improvement we need to work on.
One of the things I would suggest is change the pictures in your website banner to reflect your club. Having Tanaka, Japanese president from many years ago, being part of the banner does not reflect McGuanago Rotary. So take pictures wherever you're at, doing things, be it the haunt, talent show, whatever, being at Culver's the other night. Put those up in the banner, you know, and use those keywords.
Because Jim has a lot of Facebook contacts saved. So he's used that for our Guanaco's Got Talent, our events. It's an easy thing. Once they're loaded in there,
They'll just rotate through.
they'll rotate out. So if all of a sudden somebody sees a speaker that they would be interested in, maybe they're not a member, and say, well, you know what, I'd like to go and listen to that. Or
Well,
I know her, like him, that's going to be recognized for Teacher of the Month. They might come in and attend that.
Do you have more value on your club runner info or your Facebook info for your club?
I would say probably Club Runner versus Facebook, but that's a decision that the club should make is, you know, what are you gonna truly use as your social media connection?
I feel
Does
like they should
everybody
almost be very similar.
Post,
'Cause they're
on
not different
Facebook?
audiences.
do members have Facebook accounts? You know, those kinds of things, or what are they into using? Meanwhile, we digress. What other improvements? Anything else?
I think we could be more global,
Okay,
international
okay,
with our
yeah.
some projects,
Globally engaged.
more globally engaged, right?
Anything else?
I just had an idea that popped in my head while we were talking.
Sure.
Because I track attendance, I've noticed that if we don't have a very exciting speaker, attendance is way down. So we need to make an effort to help our members find better speakers. I don't know if that's a committee, but I think if we have more dynamic, more exciting speakers, more people will come to the weekly meetings. Never thought of that until 2 minutes ago with all this discussion, but
Yeah,
Makes sense.
it does. Sidebar, November's Foundation a month. How many speakers are gonna have that talk about Rotary projects around the world in Foundation Month? Any? Monthly themes.
they're hard to find. Mr. Henderson can only come so many
Be
times.
back next week.
Transfer up here.
Yeah, because in a way, we do, every member has to bring a speaker. And sometimes it's the last minute, can you speak on a topic that is of interest to them? And it's like, oh, good, man, I got that done. Just show up and we've got a TV and I'm guilty of the same thing.
There's, well, I figured at one point in time there was 8 or 9 to 10 Rotary clubs in Waukesha County. At least half of them have international projects. Have you asked your fellow clubs?
We did have Ken Schumann down recently for the water, one of the water projects. We
What
had-
about out at Elmbrook, Guatemala,
Yep.
Yeah, we've got that.
Waukesha Loon Club?
No, we haven't had anybody from there. Okay, so that's a resource that we could go to kind of fill part of those, or at least to recommend to our members,
Sure.
here's the person to contact to see if that individual might be willing
To
to
come.
come down and speak to us.
Would it make sense along these lines to have, and somebody mentioned something about a committee, but take it out of the hands of individual Rotarians? I realize we're advocating some role for our people to lean in that may not lean in anyways, but to make it more interesting, more or less treated like an entertainment committee, to bring in speakers that are more dynamic, to get back to John's point, that
I just think
we
they,
don't have as many, but
members
maybe
need
they're more
help.
bang.
Yeah, they do.
we're all procrastinators, and again, this stuff is just coming to me as we're talking, but you cannot turn in your speaker 2 weeks from the day's due. It has to be turned in to you 6 weeks before it's due, so that it has time to get vetted and set up and ready. And then at least you've got another 2 weeks before you get to a month before, so then it can be on Facebook, and it can be,
Promoted
and we
effectively.
can come up with a little blurb to talk about. So again, because I know this happens to you, I was president once too. Oh yeah, 2 days before they're due, I got this person.
Yeah, finally.
And I just,
Or you're doing it.
going, so
Go ahead, Megan.
this should also be, I think, part of the orientation for new members, because when I first seen my name on a speaker list, I panicked. I was like, what is this? What am I supposed to do?
Sign up for this.
Who am I supposed to have?
Is that the only list you saw your name on?
So far.
As long as emails, just throwing them out.
But I mean, it was terrifying.
Sure.
Yeah.
To think completely, inexperienced with the whole Rotary world, coming into it, I had no clue. What type of speaker am I supposed to look for?
Or if you were
Are
supposed
they
to speak.
yeah, are they supposed to be covering a certain topic? Like, it's very intimidating.
Did you have a mentor to talk to?
I did.
And did you, no,
No.
I'm not trying to give you trouble. I was just
I'm
trying
not
to,
gonna
I'm
call
trying to see if the
anybody
mentor worked.
The mentor that I had took me to lunch and just basically gave me an overview of the Rotary Club
Right.
as a whole. But it wasn't necessarily like, this is what our club does, this is how we function, this is how the meetings go, this is what's going to be expected of you. You know what I mean?
We need
It
to
didn't
do better with
necessarily
that.
cover that
Coach
at
up,
all.
mentors,
Yeah,
coach up.
Yeah.
Again, because I was Margaret's mentor and she was really struggling to learn. Every week for almost that whole year, she asked me questions
Yeah.
on and on and on, and we just kind of, it's all so normal to us.
It takes a village to
Yeah.
raise a new Rotarian.
Yeah, so that's, again, that's why I brought the point.
Yeah, good point.
We do have a protocol, a description for guest speakers, and I've gotten that out to our new ones. You must have came in before my tenure, otherwise you.
That's it.
Okay, well,
Everything would have been different if I just started.
It sounds like the mentoring program needs to be.
you need to teach the mentors.
Yeah,
Mentors
mentors,
need
we
training.
gotta take the mentors aside first.
So there's another committee.
Yeah.
Well, but,
All the same
see, I don't know how that goes.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of assigning the mentorship,
Mentors.
right? Was that you?
There's a sponsorship. of
John, was that
mentorship.
you prior?
Well,
Okay,
I'll admit to some of that because we pulled
Here we go.
through the membership and we came up with the checklist.
I remember, yeah.
And we asked for volunteers who would mentor new members. And we've added sheets of, the new member packets have the speaker lists in there, and there's a number of other things in it.
Yeah.
But obviously, the mentors aren't doing a thorough job.
it might be because they're not.
We
I
try to
was with
get,
the club 1 month and I was asked to speak. To substitute for something there.
Yeah, that happens where.
I use it as an opportunity to talk about smart recovery, but, I didn't have any plan or anything else as a mentor, and it just said, hey, we need you there. So I just off the
well,
cuff.
the odd part about it is that the members we have selected have been members for a while. We're not putting new members into the mentor part of it.
Well, maybe you should have
But,
a
we need to go
newer
back.
Rotarian and an experienced Rotarian serve as a mentoring team to
That's
that,
not a bad idea.
to that, you know, the
We
newest
don't
person
skip over
coming
stuff
in.
that seems second nature to us.
Well, it's a good problem to have too,
Sure.
because when you have, I mean, we had a little bit of growth,
Probably lift
so
up
you're
two
gonna
sheets
learn,
that
there's
should
gonna be
be.
things, and, you know, it's always.
You know, I'm just thinking on our fifth Thursdays, when they come up, which is a club meeting, it might do us well to kind of review some of our club activities and some of the things that we
101.
take for granted,
Yeah.
you know, as having been members for a while that other members may not know
Those are called assumptions.
of, right? Right.
In my business, that's a curse word.
No.
You will not assume, if you're in a meeting, you say you assume, you're dead.
Oh, yeah, that's your.
All right, what are some of your observations or opportunities that you see in the community, you see in your Rotary Club? What did you jot down?
Communication.
Yeah,
Communication?
community awareness and support, getting the word out.
Okay, so we got communication, community awareness and support.
Hold on,
I know,
all the big words.
yeah.
Talk.
What else?
Talk good.
What else?
Well, I got another, this is back to mentoring again, actually, but bringing newer members along faster, getting engaged. which
Engaging the
means-
newer
which
member
means
regardless
all the
of
things
age.
we were talking about.
Onboarding the new members.
Onboarding,
On board.
yeah, I mean, that's a
There you
good,
go.
we
Like
take
those
this,
words.
onboarding the
That's
members.
a good one.
Don't confuse that with waterboarding.
Please
I
don't.
won't do that.
Although they may feel like they're being,
Because we're a growing community, we have the opportunity to increase membership.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. How are the other service organizations in town doing?
Struggling.
Yeah.
Tough shape.
You talk to the Kiwanis, you talk to the Lions Club, you talk to the Mason, they're all just, they're having flight right now. From the ones that I know through our community, and I
Sure.
visit, because I ask that all the time where they're at,
Yeah.
and they are struggling big time too.
Okay,
So we are not unique in that
What I've
regard.
heard on that, same thing, except their memberships are getting older. There isn't any
coming
fresh
in,
blood.
yeah.
There's
That's,
nothing coming
that's
up
a
the
big
bottom.
part of it, yeah. I think just the generation shift period, it's not as important, I don't think, to, you know what I mean? To the younger generations to have a service organization, because they're self-focused more than, you know what I mean? So we have to try to find a way to really appeal to the younger generations, to get them to come and see, like,
But when you interview and you talk to young people, 25 and under, to them, that's in the top 4 things that they feel they as an individual want to be more engaged, to make a difference.
yeah,
Like Rotary and Lions and all that, that's for old people.
right? We have to
So-
change the appeal a little bit.
That's right,
Well,
so
then-
our mask, the way we're perceived, is in the wrong thing, we're wearing the wrong clothes, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe one of the observations could be is that Rotary is now thinking we need to partner with Toastmasters because we need to help younger people understand the importance of public speaking, understand the importance of leadership development skills. So maybe you folks should start promoting those kinds of things in your Rotary Club, that we as Rotarians can give you an opportunity to practice talking. We can give you an opportunity to learn how to conduct a meeting and sell some of those life skills. Yes, you are going to have to reframe how you're thinking about things, but maybe it's more being a leadership development organization.
Maybe that's part of a new vision.
Tammy, are you aware of any of the clubs in our district that have partnered with Toastmasters? I know that's an RI initiative.
Not that I've heard, but I know that Some of you might know the name Nancy Rhodes.
Yes.
Her partner, Don Drektra, had been in Toastmasters for a couple years. So maybe you're fine, or you know somebody that is currently in Toastmasters, and ask them to come in and give a presentation to your club about what is Toastmasters' purpose, what, you know, and have them explain what you do, kind of a thing, what they do, and how, you know, if you're gonna really reframe the structure of your club, how do you do that? Other observations or opportunities?
The businesses, our community businesses have money. So this is important to Rotary, but that was you know, there is money to be had for donations or sponsorships.
Let's talk about that, Ken.
Yeah, go ahead.
As a business owner, and again, I'm not speaking for anybody else in the room, but yes, there's an element from us from a self-employed standpoint that you want to keep the visibility with your name. But many times that donation of funds that goes, whether it's to a ballpark or to Halloween hunt or whatever, it's a cash contribution. There is no direct pull to you as a business owner to increase your exposure. I know many times they say they'll put a flyer together, whether it's us, the Lions Club, the Chamber of Commerce, but the amount of organizations that are constantly coming to you after one, after another, after another, after another, you get, it's overload. And sometimes they get to a point where they don't even want to talk to you because their first perception is,
You're asking for a handout.
you're asking for a handout, we want money.
I think we.
So how do we remake ourselves? That's the question.
Maybe
How do we
it's
make
not
ourselves
that
different? We
it's
still have to keep going around.
Well,
Yes.
We still have to get those sponsorships.
Fortunately, like a lot of things, we keep going back to the well and the people that have been supportive in the past, we count on them being supportive in the future, and when we don't expand our group that's leaning in, and it's like getting the GS Globals to kick in some cash, getting Avatar to kick in some cash. You know, so it's not just Amato or Lynch or TV Insurance or Advocate Aurora. It's like, there are other people out there that, you know, that's, you know, one discussion for tonight.
Yep.
But how do we market ourselves so that we can, as you know, getting back to Rick's point, you know, there's not gonna be a direct return on investment, but at least something that they go, okay, I'm not just sending this money off into space, but I'm getting something in return, recognizing my contribution to the community. Granted, part of it is selfish from a business's point of view, rightfully so, but, you know, trying to widen our
And maybe with the storefronts in the community, you put in a sign or a placard that says, this person probably supports the McGuanago Rotary
Right.
Club. You know, frequent them. Do you all patronize?
Right. Let them know we appreciate their support.
Right, you know, so that they can have that up in their business, that the community
Yeah.
sees the fact that they're supporting the community in different ways.
Or going back to, I mean,
Yeah.
inviting them to be involved in the Rotary so that they can have a direct influence and get their name out, you know, that way.
I was recently at a place where we had, quilting is big, as many of you know, with many people. And we went to 2 quilt stores and had them talk about what they perceived as us always coming to them and what their thoughts were on that, you know, and they say, well, certainly they recognize their customers. They recognize the people that are always coming back to buy fabric or whatever. And if those people are the ones that ask them to give, they will consider it. But if you are a stranger to them, probably not.
Makes sense?
So patronage,
Yeah.
you know, is a key factor. So, you know, maybe that's a topic. Maybe you're coming away, Mark, with more topics for club discussions. Then we're going to come up with solutions tonight.
In the past, we've talked about branding our club, and we talked about branding it with maybe the new high school renovation, maybe a manufacturing lab or something like that, so.
That sounds like dollars.
Well, we may have some dollars that we can do that with, but we partnered with our high school over the years
Sure.
in house building,
Right.
and playhouse building, where the kids not only get high school credit, but they also get credit at WCTC.
Sure.
And we,
Where are you trying to spell?
Initiatives. I think that's what you want, branding with initiatives.
yeah,
Yeah.
Where Rotary is tied to an effort like the
Right.
School to Workhouse. When
Yeah.
you say that, you think, oh, isn't that what Rotary does?
that,
Or at least the McGuanago Rotary
The
does.
McGuanago.
right.
Yeah, because I know that.
Again,
Yes.
back to Mark, mentioned to, we should do more globally. Rotary International has branded themselves as about partnering with WHO to end polio. And from my viewpoint here, I think this club really needs to get involved more internationally. I can think back when I went to Ghana, had the opportunity to go on a mission trip.
Mhm.
I think 2 or 3 members after that experience, that's why I joined Rotary, because I listened to you. You talked to me about what you did over there, what we did as a club internationally. You know, the perception of the public is that Rotary is international. I don't know,
Yeah.
McGuanago here is, if I could say that, you know, and that's why I volunteered, you know, to go to Guatemala, because I really believe that Rotary is international.
Sure. Yes, it is. It's in the title. It doesn't say Rotary logo.
So
It says
partnering
Rotary.
with other clubs as we've done in the past, maybe more as far as international projects.
Get in touch with the Milwaukee Downtown Club. They're always going somewhere internationally, working on a
We
project.
haven't had much interest, excuse me, we haven't had much interest with other club members. I mean, I was international director for a long time, and just, Rick is now. And we did stuff in the club that affected the world, but we didn't really partner. It's so hard for a small club to partner
Yes.
across the nation. But really, if you go around our club, everybody's busy, it costs a ton of money if you know to travel, and not that many people have money or are willing to take time off to go. Your experience is a little different, and so that's that's a real, I think, part of the reason our club is not, as a group.
It's part of the challenge,
But at least we can present the opportunities.
right. Or you do something locally that is part of that international project.
Right.
You know, maybe it's collecting jackets or shoes or whatever it might be that eventually gets shipped somewhere, you know, internationally. But any other observations, opportunities?
One of the things that came out of, I think, this year's Halloween, is that we put out exactly who was getting the money.
Mhm.
It was a free clinic here in town. And that came out way out in advance of other years. Other years we talked about a little bit. It was on our flyers and everything, and we kind of told people where the money's going, you know, on our event.
Yeah.
And I think that helped a little bit. I've heard a couple comments on that.
John?
Yeah, so being one of the gatekeepers for many years for that event, for me, anyway, I made a big point of telling every person who came through the door, every parent that is, what this was for.
Sure.
And I'm gonna say 20% of the people pitched in at 20, threw an extra 5, keep the change, you know,
Sure.
that was,
If
and
you know
so-
where it's going.
But any activity, you can have a purpose and some
Yes.
idea where it goes. Like we ran, last spring we ran the talent show.
Mhm.
And we had a really difficult time trying to pin down, where's the money going? And we said, well, you got general, we do these things, and I just, you know, it just doesn't sit well.
Yeah, it's too squishy.
It doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they say, oh, we're having this thing, and I can't tell you where.
That's right, trust us.
That's a
Yeah.
good board thing, we need to be more
But
proactive about that.
But that,
Make
one
decisions.
thing with that event this year, I'm not saying I drove everybody there, but it helped. But I know when I talked to the people that I went to talk about sponsorships, I told them what I wanted to go. You know, I mean, I didn't tell them that, you know, Rotary does only wonderful things, you know.
But again, back to the gatekeeper at the Halloween haunt. Other years, I would rattle off the list of 4, 5, 6 things that Rotary does, right? I didn't get any. I got like $2.
Too bad.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what you're saying is exactly correct. We need to make a specific change from now on. We don't ever do an event without where everyone's going ahead of time.
I worked with John, and I'm in that group where I really didn't push it either, but listening to him and seeing how that one thing resonated with everybody. And by God, he got money like right, you know, after one, after another, after another, after another. It made me a believer after watching it.
Well, it creates a purpose for doing it. Now,
Right.
all the money doesn't have to go to that.
No.
I mean, if we make $10 more, I mean, who cares, you know? But the bulk of the money goes to that fund.
Do community organizations, and be it the fire department, EMTs, whatever, know that they could submit a wish kind of thing to the Rotary Club? That if you are working on an event, that they could be considered for funding for a special project or something, you know? Maybe it's putting a heart defibrillator here in the library, or whatever. Anything else for this list? We got one more to go. And
And
that's
my knees are
trending.
starting to go.
Yeah.
He's gonna help them out.
Anything else? Okay, we'll move on to the next one.
Should be about 2 sheets down. Here we go. Trends, what's trending? What do you see in the future?
We talked about it previously, but I wrote down doing more in the community with other community-based organizations,
Okay?
partnering with other community-based organizations.
With local community?
Local.
Local.
And what time does the library close?
7.5, 5.
9 o'clock. Or 8 o'clock or something? Okay.
And are we gonna vet them?
Oh, yeah, I think we have to.
You know, we've had discussions.
Yes.
There's some organizations that are run real well, some are sketchy.
Yeah. Because as soon as we tie our name to another organization, you know, that damages our reputation if they're not the same level.
Right.
So-
What else is trending?
I have, it's got more concern is the trending
Okay.
necessarily. I have more just a concern about too few people doing too much.
Oh, the 80-20 rule?
Yeah, that we, in this, consider being a small club, so it's going to be more pronounced that see the same faces or hear the same people doing the events. And I mean, the difficulty of getting people to sign up for the Halloween haunt and some of our other events, it's a challenge. I realize we're all spread pretty thin anyways with work and other responsibilities, but I'm concerned that you're gonna lose people, good people, because they're feeling like they're burdened with too much.
They're overextended.
Yeah, so just a concern. Also, you know, it's getting back to reaching younger population, and just sustained growth of the club. You know, as we all kind of fall over. Let's get some, I want to get
Thanks a
somebody,
lot.
I want to get somebody that I can actually be the dad of to be in the club, you know?
So rephrase that, how do you want me to write that down?
Just going back to the
Younger members?
younger members for sustained future growth. That's got to be on our forefront. And again, getting back to how we market ourselves and how we promote ourselves and messaging to that population. But if we don't start getting some 20-year-olds and some 30-year-olds, you know.
Or even more retirees.
Yeah, I mean, one side younger, but I'm more concerned about younger, there's no reason we shouldn't have 50% women.
Right.
That's not like you can't find women in the community.
They're out there.
Yeah.
Well, trends, I think, I was, sorry, Van,
No.
I was thinking of, because younger people are, all their kids are so involved now, they can't possibly do one more thing. But a trend then would be sports. I don't know, is that like a dirty word around Rotary? I've never heard one sporting event that had anything to do with Rotary ever in my 14 years.
Well, I've often thought that there could be
Children's sports is what I'm thinking of.
satellite Rotary clubs at soccer fields every Saturday morning.
Well, would the Rotary Club be able to sponsor a team, or are you looking, what do you mean exactly?
I don't know yet. I'm just trying to say, where's the,
Because
instead
my
of
son's
fighting,
soccer team is looking for
Okay.
sponsors. The Milwaukee, or Maquonico Kickers, Milwaukee.
no, I think that's a great idea,
Rotary
but
shirts.
I'm just saying, instead of bucking the trend
Right.
of young families that are so stressed because they're going to all these sporting events, trying to go from here to there to here to there,
Exactly. And put
can we
otherwise-
find a way to
Yeah.
be a more into that? Why is our Rotary Club not at the football stadium or in on the
How do
basketball?
we align ourselves with that population versus saying, yeah, you should join us, cause. It's like, which is, you're right, the first thing's gonna be, yeah, I don't have time for that. But if we're there, some kind of creative way to be there and to have.
And not just our logo, but us. people.
Right, yes, yeah.
Or you do a trade. We'll give you X amount of dollars if you give us 2 hours of volunteer time at an event of ours.
Give their kids opportunities, because they need it on their college applications. This goes back to our Interact Club. But I like the idea of changing your message to speak to the people that you're trying to reach, rather than just saying blah, blah, blah. Then
Right.
I'm going, yeah, I don't speak blah, blah.
Right. Blah, blah, blah.
We had a couple little bullet points on one of those over there. We were talking about leadership, development, public speaking, organization, and business.
Yeah.
Thought.
Yeah.
Those are kind of things that
That might appeal to them.
might appeal to
Some part of that population.
It might not appeal to somebody that's been in business for 35 years, but,
Yeah.
you know, a younger person might.
An example might be the Rotary volunteering for mock interviews at the high school.
Yeah.
For co-op, marketing and business ed clubs, I mean,
They're also, there's somebody, I get a freshman, Milwaukee, Ottawa, go on and do the mock interviews for the students.
yeah.
So, but I like the sports thing, because you're right, why not tap into that population? And how can we do it creatively that speaks?
One quick example, my wife belongs to the Elmwood Rotary Club. They have a one weekend thing called Spikes for Tights. It's a volleyball tournament. And they've got all the Elmwood schools involved. They raised $40,000
That side.
in a weekend through sponsorships, but they get out, and the kids in the Brookfield East, Brookfield Central, they form their own teams, they get a few t-shirts, they come out and they have this tournament on the weekend. That's just one example.
How many kids do you think participate in DECA?
In DECA,
Yep, at the high school level.
probably, I would guess about 20, 25.
Is that the same as FBLA?
Could be.
Similar.
And if I remember back when I was in DECA, part of those objectives was leadership, public speaking,
Ethics?
ethics,
And an ethics contest?
Volunteering,
volunteering,
service.
service, all some of the same core values that we maintain. Maybe,
Proponent for.
right, maybe, now that we have an Interact coming on board, maybe re-engaging, like John said, getting involved in maybe a group. If it wasn't a sports group, maybe we look at partnering with them, because I know they're always looking for a little funding, the opportunity to network, to learn leadership skills. Maybe they might be a good nucleus, not for the Interact group, but also for us too, as to get their parents with. I don't know, because they're very successful at high school, are they not?
They have it.
Well, maybe the Interact, once Interact gets off the ground, we can hold some kind of event for the Interact and their family members and the Rotary Club to do something together where we can all kind of commingle and try to
A
get,
social event, Dr. McKeever.
you know, try to get everybody involved.
There's a Rotaract group at Carroll University. So,
And the WCTC has a strong DECA group also, right?
I think they do.
Yeah.
are there any other trends or concerns or whatever to get up there?
One concern is, where's everybody tonight?
That's a trend.
Yeah.
That kind of was going back to my trend.
We got 35 members and there's 9 of us here tonight.
Well, that goes back to the
We got
80-20
good,
rule.
we got good discussion going. but
See, basically a board meeting and a couple extra people.
Yeah, but 18 people said they'd be here.
True.
Yeah.
I have one more that we can maybe think about. I don't know that it's something that is of importance to everybody or many people or whatever, but a lot of the projects or involvements that we have with the school seem to be very male-focused. You know, the workhouse, the playhouse, it's all boys who are doing this. And so if part of our goal in membership is to recruit more female members, I think there should be a little bit of a focus, not saying that, you know, the focus should stay away from those, because I think those are fantastic opportunities, but try to diversify the focus on including more female focus, because we have family events, like the haunted, you know, the jack-o'-lantern drawn, the balloons, there's family and there's male. There's nothing necessarily specifically geared towards,
Young women.
yeah,
Female of that.
yeah.
I really never kind of paid attention, but you're right.
Well, I'm not going to disagree, but I gave a discussion on last January at the high school, you know, talking about medicine as a career, and they're freshmen and sophomores, 98, maybe there were 2 men out of the 3 groups.
So that'd be a good focus area then.
So, you know, the questions that I got, it was just astounding. I mean, the whole medical field, whether it's veterinary, dental, is more predominantly female-orientated than it's ever been.
Yeah.
We need to focus on that, and just as a sidebar, Megan, when we were doing the school workhouse initially, we had the architectural classes involved, where we had an appreciable number of girls in there.
Sure,
The interior design class, which was predominantly girls,
sure.
but those just,
Yeah, it's a broader cross-section of the school.
yeah, we had our issues with doing the school.
Yeah, because the
workouts,
builders would no
None-
longer allow those things.
Yeah.
Nonetheless,
The
we
original
should be
houses
focused.
and
They
the
want
original
control
intent
of it all,
was,
if they're gonna be
did
attached
include
to
them,
it,
yes.
yeah.
Sadly, you don't have
That's
as
a good
many
point.
high school girls doing the trades, because it is gender neutral as far as anybody can build something.
It is, but it's not.
I know.
I mean, and
it's
if,
still
I would love to
traditional.
say women can do the same thing as men,
Right.
but, I mean, honestly,
And
no.
the school works on gender equity as well, you know.
Yeah.
They try to, whenever there's less than 25% of a particular gender in an area, just like with the health occupations.
Right,
The youth apprentice in health occupations are mostly girls. We're always trying to build up more
right,
boys in there, so.
I think definitely speaking, again, going to have the conversation with the audience we're trying to attract makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
You're not gonna get more women if you don't talk to women.
right,
right.
good point.
Okay, we have identified a lot of things that you can work on, or observations, improvements, or your trends. I'm not sure that we're quite to the point yet of picking out maybe 3 targets, 3 goals. From what I've heard in your conversation this evening, it sounds like, yes, continued work on membership, you know, is one of the goals that the club should continue to work on. Sounds like you've made progress as far as making the community aware of the Rotary Club, so maybe that's still a minor point, but maybe how you can repackage your promotion of what the McGuanago Rotary Club is known for. You know, talk about some of the points that I highlighted about leadership, skill development, and some of those kinds of things. So repackage your thinking on that. Community awareness. But what would you say are some of your observations as far as goals from what you've heard your fellow members talk about this evening? What do you think would be a goal to work towards?
More involvement.
Okay. Engaging members. What is the expectation? Do you have an expectation that every member should try to make at least 2 meetings a month? You know, what's innovative for your club? What's your flexibility factor? You know, membership is now down to 50% attendance expectation, or that's what Rotary says, is that you should make at least 50% of your meetings or events or whatever. Are you using that? And then Jerry, some of the stuff that I gave you as far as membership materials, maybe you need to take a look at what it is to have a passport component to your club, where people can, you know, weed in and out of the meetings. What are some of your expectations as far as attendance? You know, you've tried the corporate model. Sounds like there's been some success, but maybe not so much or whatever. But there are other models out there. Looking at how to keep people informed about what's happening in the club. You know, podcast, somebody that posts a meeting synopsis, you know, every week that, you know, what you missed at today's meeting. Kind of a postscript that could go up somewhere, be it social media or wherever you decide would be the best place to put that. I'm going to stop and turn it back over to you and to let you throw out some ideas as far as general goals.
The one word I picked up on the whole night was onboarding.
Okay?
I like waterboarding myself. I think if you don't make 2 meetings, you get waterboarded.
Yeah, if you fail the onboarding, you get waterboarded.
That's membership, it's communications, and it's all of that stuff.
Yeah,
You know, that's kind of one thing,
yeah.
you know.
Well,
Get our
my
our
observation,
onboarding.
my observation is that I don't know if the corporate membership is cracked up what it should be. Because those are seem like the members that come once in a while. Although a lot of them are active when you ask them to do something, but as far as the 50% that come to the meetings.
That is a trade-off. I guess I would put more emphasis on people being involved in projects versus coming to a meeting regarding the corporate membership. But
Yeah, because I think the corporate meeting, membership for the meetings plays down to how many people are coming to eat.
right.
You know what I mean? What are you allocated for?
Right.
How much meals are you paying for? That's how many people you think.
We do kind of shift the focus to being more hands-on at events than worrying about attending meetings.
Right.
So that's what
We've talked about this at a board level, and with Jerry several times. I'm just gonna bring it up because we talked about trade-offs, attendance versus attending events. But I don't know that it's gotten out there much past our core group. I don't feel like it's a part of our culture.
Yeah, maybe we know it, but.
I think it needs to become a part of our culture. We talk about it every meeting or regularly, that people like Megan that aren't at every meeting, but when the meetings you are able to attend, somebody does say, you know what, you can always, we're looking for that trade-off.
But, you know, our overall club participation, not including the meetings, our overall club participation in stuff is pretty doggone high. It's like 80% or so, better than 80%, it's like 85%. It's pretty good. So, I mean, outside of the meetings, we do have people that, really do participate.
So the club honors the service aspect.
Absolutely.
That probably needs to be defined a little bit better too. You know, like, or even if we adjust our, let's say we adjust our fees, do something different with breakfast, but then there still has to be an expectation, still have to come to a certain number of meetings, or try to, should participate, give us at least a dozen service hours a year or something,
And yeah,
kick a little money into the foundation, you know, and
right.
be a member.
Yeah.
You know.
I didn't take a look at your foundation giving, which I could have, so I don't know where you're standing on that effort, but, you know, only you can ask yourself, you know, are members contributing what they can, or do you have a list of non-givers that's longer than the list of givers?
We could always do better, but we've given enough so that we're able to do our yearly grant projects.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So, goals, what else? What did you hear tonight that you think would be a goal?
40. 40
So
members.
membership growth,
40 members.
keep striving towards that
Because
goal.
and you know too, as a past governor, that when clubs get to that certain size, they go, they take off. They get that inertia going, and all of a sudden, it isn't so much, you're trying to get people, you got enough activities that people are coming in, and then it's more about managing the people. Some that are at a high level, that aren't paying attention, they're losing members left and right. But the small club, if they get up to that certain level, Elmbrook's a classic example. Now they're like a machine. They're running. That Cedarburg Grafton is doing well. Or things, you know, there's good clubs out there that seem like once they hit that mark, and we're close, but we're not there yet. That would be, to me, a goal.
Take some time, just, and look at, is the meal revenue center a problem for the club? And if you decide that it is, well, that's a group decision. Then how are you going to accommodate so that it's more palatable for everybody? That if you want to buy breakfast, you can, or do you come to, I don't even know if the library, as an example, is open at 7 o'clock on a Thursday morning, that you could come here and have coffee and orange juice or whatever, and that's it.
Right.
You know, kind of a thing.
Come up with options, that's what we
Come up with some options.
Well, then we could have a 30-minute meeting.
That's the other
Well,
thing.
sure, you
the
need
meeting.
less time to eat, we don't need all that time to eat,
No,
so,
Or if you're just having coffee and
and you can drink coffee, I was thinking about this, you can have coffee while we, you know, even if you move it to start time at 7:20,
sit there and listen, you know.
that's not 7 AM, you know?
Right.
How are we gonna wrap this up, Ken?
well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, what you want to do. That's why I'm asking the group here if there's any goals, but I think it seems like, how do you want to finish this tonight? I mean, I've heard some things, membership seems to be coming forward, membership engagement, communication, there might be a fourth one, but maybe those, for at least the next year, truly are what you're going to focus on.
I think that you mentioned, you let off with repackaging the Rotary Club. I think that's what we're doing here. I mean, we've got a membership goal and some things we've got to do. There's probably, we got our target out there yet, but then that repackaging, that gets into how do we attract more younger people, how do we attract more ladies, how do we branch off of some of the things we're doing, I don't know.
It all falls underneath.
Yeah, but that's kind of a umbrella.
We have to have a-
That has to be defined.
Re-imaging goal
Mm-hmm.
that will, everything will trickle and fall under that.
And maybe you need to have like a a focus group, maybe get together with, come up with 3, 4, 5 questions, no more than that. Spend some time, or, you know, in Home Depot or wherever the heck it is, where people are passing through and say, can I just ask you 5 quick questions and find out, you know, do you know that there's a Rotary Club in Aguanago? And just some things like that, where people are at, ask some questions, get some information by talking to your fellow citizens, and take that forward as you look at all of this stuff.
Kind of like a census.
Yeah, it's a focus group, you know, just,
Again, you guys, yeah, find out how they want.
Well, get a few facts together,
Yeah.
you know, and 10 out of 20 people don't have a clue what,
Right.
you know, like.
Yeah.
or go to a football game or a soccer, you know, tournament or something on a Saturday morning and just, you
Or we
know,
can put people
wear your
outside of
Rotary
the
logo.
manufacturing place, outside of an attorney.
I like it. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, by the way.
Actually, I was thinking of getting all the ladies in our club together for a sit down and just ask, because you have more insight.
Brainstorming for them.
Yeah, for them to tell us, for instance, we never even dawned on us that we're not including young ladies
Yeah,
in our events.
yeah.
Never even,
Maybe sub,
and
Well,
here,
that's just
you
because
you
the
thought
club
of it
is
right away.
predominantly male as it is, so that's your idea.
I think that's
How
right.
does that work?
If I asked you to be on this
I think they would be.
playhouse thing, because
I'd even
the
be
last
willing to
2
give
of them
up
were
a half a meeting,
she
or a
ships.
meeting, just to let that happen.
I don't know what your
President, would you be
I
population,
wasn't listening, but.
No, about having just allowing
A focus,
just that our female members to have a work group to come up with maybe some ideas on what we could do as a club to attract more young women to just them as a subgroup.
I would even encourage maybe non-members, you know, peers of yours, that you could recruit.
Yeah.
It's just, I'd like to hear, you know, if again.
Mark, I could even come.
Those questions of what is Rotary and they think, what would make me join?
Here's the thing though, you don't, and I can say this because I am a woman, you don't want too many women, because we will
I have to
be
leave now.
controlling every event.
What?
Well,
I know I wasn't listening here.
I heard it, you don't hear
You
it.
don't want to, no, just move on. Because you're
We'll
not
no
your
longer
dad and
have a
that's, you
say
can't
in
make an
anything
emotion.
then.
Don't betray any emotion now, just go straight ahead.
So we're past our time, okay? And I want to wrap this up, so may I suggest that we form, and maybe I'll get this out to the whole club, a focus group to take the ideas that we did here and then focus them down and then write up our new strategic plan. And then eventually we're gonna have to present it to the whole club.
Right, and set some goals.
and I would be happy to come back if you want a group committee. I'd be happy to come back and help guide or steer or,
I mean, I would like to think that since the people present in the room were part of this, it would be great if we could get together maybe one more time in the not too distant future to boil some of this stuff down, and I'd be willing to put some of this on, some of the handouts and get them out to people, you can look at it. So, okay,
Because otherwise it's just gonna lay there, nothing's gonna happen.
that's right.
right.
So, like I said, I'm happy to come back if you want me to come back and help, but you need to figure out your timetable as when you want to get some of this done.
Right.
So that you have a new,
Got some good ideas, we need to boil it down, type up a new plan, get some consensus, and then,
because yes, sharing it with the club is important.
yep.
So, I don't know your population of veterans in McWanago, but a Rotary Club up in Minnesota just chartered a satellite club that is composed of veterans.
That's the same things that the VFW do. But anyway,
But not every veteran is a member of the VFW. But I'm just saying, think outside the box,
Right,
think
sure.
about other, you know, what's attractive to this area. Thank you you all for participating this evening.
But before everybody leaves though, Tammy, would you come over here?
Try to.
When I moved to town, I was just wondering.
Tammy, thank you so much for coming. As a token of our appreciation, we have a little notebook for you. Maybe
Thank
you've seen one of these.
I have seen that, yes.
Probably recognize the
Oh, for
four-way
which
test
test
on there.
is it beneficial to all concerned?
Yes. And then also, in gratitude for guiding us in our strategic planning,
Okay,
we were donate funds to Rotary International for 25 children in the world to be inoculated against polio.
super. Thank you so much. We got a very good start tonight.
Where have you been?
We'll get to the goal line.
We will. Thank you so
I
much.
have
Sure,
actually
no
looked at
problem.
6 months of it. I'm 55.
Take these up.
Coming up on 30.
Oh, yes.